Get 8 in a row for the Edmonton Oilers as they get the job done yet again, handing the Chicago Blackhawks a 4-1 defeat. The Oilers on fire, over 500 for the first time this season, 13-12-1 on the year. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Oil Stream Postgame Show. Tom Gazzola, Matthew Waniah with you. Matt Cassian will be joining us shortly as he gets set as we break down the Oilers' 4-1 victory over Connor Bedard and the Chicago Blackhawks. If you're watching via YouTube, we appreciate that very much. Thank you so much. And the nasty chat already going. Panner's Pancake says the Preds are now in the sights. Yes, indeed, they are. The Oilers with a couple games in hand on some teams in front of them. That's a good thing, too. If you didn't catch it tonight, the St. Louis Blues did relieve Craig Berube of his head coaching duties. That's a Stanley Cup winning coach that took the Blues to the Stanley Cup championship back in 2019 after an improbable run when the team was last on January 3rd. And then, of course, they beat the Boston Bruins in the Cup final, and Berube being a big part of that. Drew Bannister, the former Oiler, takes over behind the bench for the St. Louis Blues. So a little bit of that news from the NHL as we were watching the Oilers wrap up a 4-1 win over the Chicago Blackhawks. Let's go into the scoring summary and then game story, and then we'll get Matt Cassian going here. He looks like he's ready to rock. So in the first period, it would be Connor Bedard at 3:21. What a nice goal by Bedard. Hello, welcome back to Edmonton, Connor, his 12th of the year from Vlasic and Crevier. And that was a neat little move by Bedard to snap one home past the glove of Stuart Skinner. The Oilers would answer back. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins on a nice pass by Connor McDavid. And Evan Bouchard picking up a secondary assist to tie things up at 9:58. Then at the end of the first period, it would be a nice goal by the fourth line. A muck-it-up, grinding goal. Brett Kulak, what the heck was he doing down low? Forechecking, gets the puck out or works it free. Derek Ryan is there to find Sam Gagner. Gagner's got 4 on the season, no assist to Kulak, so he went in and disrupted on the forecheck. Ryan finds Gagner to give the Oilers the 2-1 lead at 18-19. In the second period, one goal was scored. Leon Draisaitl, his 12th. Actually, it was Zaitsev who buried it past Peter Mrazek, but Draisaitl gets credit. Cody Ceci and Sam Gagner the assist, so a 2-point night for Gagner. That goal coming at 13:22. Officially, they counted it as a snapshot, if you will. And then in the third period, just 43 seconds in, on a nice redirection, Zach Hyman continues to have his MVP season, his 16th of the year from Connor McDavid and Evan Bouchard. 4-1 is your final. Shots on goal, 29-23 in favor of the Oilers. Face-off percentage, 53.8% for Edmonton to 46.2%. For the Hawks, the Oilers power play 1 for 2. The PK, another good night, 2 for 2. Not busy, but they got the job done. Hits 30-17 in favor of the Blackhawks. Block shots 22 for Chicago to 11 for Edmonton. Officially 13 giveaways for Edmonton to the Hawks 8. And then the Oilers with 12 takeaways to Chicago's 18. As we get our game analyst, Matt Cassian, on board. Cass, I made the joke about the Hyman MVP season. That was for you, pal. That was for you. But what did you make of the Oilers' 4-1 win, making it 8 straight wins for the club?
Thanks, buddy. I giggled. I know you could see me giggle.
Yes.
I was chuckling. Hey, you should have beat the Chicago Blackhawks, and you beat the Chicago Blackhawks. So you did exactly what you're supposed to do. I'm not gonna lie. After Bedard scored, I was a little nervous. I was like, oh, you just let them in this game early, and they could get some momentum. But you just stick with it. And you do exactly what you needed to do, which is, you not stress yourself out. You're in control. You're in the driver's seat, and you cruise to a nice little 4-1 win. So a good win, big win, 8 in a row, Tommy, that's quite something considering the things we were saying about this team 9 games ago.
Yeah, it wasn't great. Over 500 casts, and now they get a couple of tougher tests in Tampa and Florida to wrap up this 6-game homestand. Perfect so far on this homestand. It's also 8 in a row at home that they've won, which is good. I like this text from Nash in Whitecourt, who says, Zaitsev looks great so far. Yeah, he buried that thing. And then we got a gift sent in from Rusty Shackelford, who sends in the count from Sesame Street, 8 and counting. Nasty chat going. If you want to text us, 780-218-9999. If you're at the game and you're on your way home, let us know your thoughts. What did you think of Connor Bedard? What did you think of the Oilers overall? And nasty chat, do your thing, because we'll dip into that as we move through the evening. Cass, going into this game, you talked about doing things the right way and pedal to the metal. And I think we both reemphasized that, and understandably so. Did you notice anything from the Oilers in terms of TV turns and not doing things the right way, not back checking, or was it pretty sufficient tonight?
I think it was pretty sufficient. And let's just use Leon Draisaitl as an example. One of the big boys, has a great back check and ends up going the other way, and the puck ends up going in for him. Now, it wasn't like it was a gorgeous goal by any stretch, but it's just an example of doing things the right way in one end, and just an example, I think, of that they were committed to doing it that way, even though you get scored on first. It didn't take them overly long to get it back, so it's not like you were chasing for a long time. Really just 6 or 7 minutes while you were behind, but they didn't really change. After even though Bedard scores a beautiful goal, they didn't change the way that they were playing. So again, I don't want to equate it quite to Minnesota, because I think they played better tonight than they did against Minnesota overall for the if we were to look at the full 60 minutes of the hockey game. But they just kind of didn't change, which I like, Tommy. I think that's a real positive in a game that Chicago probably can lull you to sleep at times. With the quality of their play, Edmonton just kind of went about their business. And Tommy, that's not a bad thing. They didn't drop their play all the way to Chicago's level.
That game, Cass, as a whole, if take away the analysis side of it, just if you're a casual observer, how would you describe like the entertainment value of that game? Because I found it odd.
Man, I mean, I'm looking at the Bedard goal, and I'm going, man, I got to see a really sweet goal from a young player that was awesome. And then it was just kind of like, I don't know. That is, I hadn't thought about it like that, because I'm always just trying to pick things apart in my brain when I'm watching. I kind of feel like it was just everything you'd expect with how good the Chicago Blackhawks are right now.
Yeah,
like where there's a couple nice plays, but it wasn't like it was a thrilling game. Like the Edmonton didn't ever really feel threatened.
True.
It was like you knew who was going to win the game the whole time. So it wasn't like it was overly entertaining. You had a couple small plays. The Bedard one was, I'd be going home talking about that. Really.
Definitely. I do have a question for you, though, in regard to tonight and all of this. Draisaitl got switched with Ryan McLeod in the second period, and we were trying to figure out, was that Chris Knobloch trying to get Draisaitl going, or was that Chris Knobloch trying to get Brown and Kane going? How did you observe that?
I think trying to find some offense for Draisaitl. I think we've seen, not that he's been overly frustrated, but he hasn't been able to put up points, and I would defend him not putting up as many points 5-5 because of his defense, where he's been playing better defense and focusing on taking some of the risk out of his game, and the team really has been rewarded because of it. Now, he personally hasn't necessarily been rewarded because of it, and so I think the switch was just to try to just give him a different look. Give him a couple of different players on his line, see if that manifests itself into anything 5-on-5. So you're trying something a little bit different. And again, I don't think you felt overly threatened by the depth of the Chicago Blackhawks. So you have the ability to move things around a little bit. Like if this was a team where their top two lines absolutely scared you, well, maybe you wouldn't be so quick as a coaching staff to say this is a change we should make. But against Chicago, hey, you're trying to get a guy going, you can mix things around a little bit. And it wasn't for the whole game. It was for a period of time. So, hey, I get it. I think it was more about Draisaitl and trying to get him a different look than McLeod and anything he was doing that was fantastic.
Yeah. He had a ho-hum kind of night for sure. Okay, let's go into the inbox. We've got some text. If you have any questions for myself or Cass or Awanik, hit us up 780-218-9999 or just some comments on the game. We want to hear from you. And then if you're watching on YouTube, get in on the nasty chat, of course. The rookie says 4 Connors in tonight's game. Brown was the 5th best. I hope they just permanently move Fogle or Holloway when he returns onto that second line. That comes in from the rookie. And Cass, I understand where the rookie's coming from. Connor Brown has 1 point in 20 games now. And that's not what he was brought in here to do. He was brought in to bring some offensive pop. Like, to his credit, if you're looking at positives, they're really good on the PK. They went 2 for 2 again. And he's a part of that. No denying it. He's a part of that. But he hit the post again tonight. He did get a shorthanded breakaway or partial break, and he wasn't able to bury. But he's been around it seems, the last couple of games. And I compared him to Michael Pekka, 2005, 2006. So what's your take on what we're seeing from Connor Brown right now? Because the rookie obviously sharing his thoughts on that. Cass, you're muted. There we go.
Shoot, I haven't done that in a while. It's
Classic.
bound to happen. Bound to happen sooner or later. I like the Michael Pekka comparison, but I don't like it because I think, Pekka was just so good defensively and on draws.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot that he did away from the offensive zone, but still kind of offensively, it kind of has that same feel to it. So that made me smile. Speaking of smiles, Michael Pekka smile. Well, there's a good smile for you. Those white teeth.
Great fake teeth.
Great teeth. I feel for the guy. I mean, at least he has been around it. And I'm sure what he's trying to tell himself. And probably what the coaching staff is telling him too is, hey, you had a goal called back. You had another opportunity. You hit a post. Like, the chances are there. The puck's going to start going in. Like, that's what you got to be telling this guy. Because aside from that, he can't have any kind of confidence. Like, just can't buy a goal. No. And we've talked before. It really is almost like that, McLeod-like thing where it's just like, if you're up, like if you were up 3-1 tonight and Chicago pulls its goalie, the first guy I'm sending over is Connor Brown. Yeah. Like, you're doing whatever you can to get him on that score sheet. You want him to get a goal. You want him to feel good about it. And that's what you're going to run with. But yeah, I mean, it's nice that the team is winning. It's great that the team is winning. So it's not prudent isn't the right word, but not as necessary. Right. To jump on him about it. But at some point, he's got to find a way to start to actually score and put those in. I mean, you can't, or I don't want to say you can't, but you shouldn't have that much money tied up in a guy that's got 0 goals, right? Like, it's not enough, Tommy. But at least, as you said, he has been around it a little bit more. There have been opportunities that have been starting to manifest themselves. Now he's just got to find a way to put one in off his butt or a shin pad or a face or whatever it takes to have it go in the net, because he needs something. This guy needs something.
Yeah. Go in and make sure it counts, unlike what happened the other day where he scored and it was disallowed. So yes, around it again, did get a shot that did hit the post, but again, no points for Connor Brown as the Oilers win it 4-1. So I understand where the rookie's coming from, but Connor Brown does bring some good elements to the game, and maybe his offensive side picks up and some of that noise goes away. But for the time being, he hasn't done anything really this year. That's for sure. All right. G-Dog the Hog says, hey, Tommy, Nikki Bouchard says the Oilers are going to win 10 in a row, and she grew up with you. Say hello to Nicole. All right, G-Dog the Hog. There's a blast from the past. Mary texts in. Hello, Mary. Mary says, glad I got to see the 2 Connors face off, but McDavid has no equal. I have no words, says Mary. That game within the game, Cass, like, it didn't turn out to be too much, but I felt like we were watching McDavid really assert himself, and Bedard had that nice play that he scored on, but that was Connor McDavid, just all over the ice and doing what he likes to
Yeah.
do and showing why he's still king, right?
Oh, still. Well, I don't. Well, at least out here, there was no question that he
No.
is still or is still. Apparently in Toronto, it's still Austin Matthews, but
Hey, he hit 20 goals, first one in the NHL.
first one there.
All
Hey,
right.
guy scores goals. Great player, one of the
Yes.
best players in the world, but he's not nearly as good as Connor McDavid, and neither is Connor Bedard. Now he's a rookie,
Right.
doesn't have a lot to work with, so let's bear that in mind. But yeah, and I think it was actually Dusty that hopped into the nasty chat that said Bedard didn't look as fast as I thought he was, but he's never been an explosive player. Like he's not. His thing, as it was in junior, was always just his shot was so dominant.
Right.
Like he was so dominant with his shot, and he thought the game pretty well. Played it at a level higher than the players in junior. But it's not like he has otherworldly NHL speed. Now McDavid does. He's got that speed laterally. He's got it vertically. He's just multi-directional. He's explosive and dangerous. And Bedard, at least tonight, didn't seem to have that. Now, will it be something that develops? I don't think so. Other people might disagree. I don't think it does. Again, I don't. I could be wrong. I don't think Bedard ends up being a guy in 5 years that we're talking about being a top 5 player in the league. Now, maybe he encroaches on that just from scoring goals. Maybe he does. I could be wrong. Is he an elite player? Yes. Will he be an elite player? Yep. But I don't think he's going to be in the same conversation as Connor McDavid. And again, he's a rookie. He's young. There's time to grow and learn and all that stuff. But Tommy, I just don't see it.
He's got some great skill. If he could be a wizard in the NHL and figure it out and it clicks for him, then I think he's going to have like I said on the pregame show, like 1,000 points, somewhere in the 1,000 to 1,500 if he has some monster years. But I guess, Cass, I didn't play the NHL, but it seems like from an outside observer point of view, some guys, they figure it out and it starts to click. And then that, he's already pretty good. I think he's got 24 points on the season now in 28 games. And if he can find a way to maybe even push 100 points a couple times in his career, I still think he's going to put together a hell of a career.
Oh yeah.
Maybe they put together a good team around him too.
Yep. And that's a factor in it too, right? Is having a team around him that's going to support that and players around him that are going to support him being able to do that. With that being said, he's definitely not Calder material. So there's that.
Wait, you don't think that he's Calder material?
No, that's going back to our pregame show.
Yeah.
Analytics.
I know, and that harkens back to the Hyman joke, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. I was like, whoa,
yeah,
whoa.
No, he's absolutely the front runner for it, as he should be now.
Absolutely. Okay, to the inbox we go. The Oilers closed out that game just like Cassian's closet door. Is Mandy happy? Is the closet door closed? Yeah, we're good.
Closet door is closed. I'm not wearing like a shirt with the dog on it. So she's probably she's probably sleeping because it was a late one.
It was a late one.
So she's probably sleeping.
Okay.
And I haven't seen her chime in yet in the inbox. So I think we're good.
All is well as the Oilers win it 4-1 over the Chicago Blackhawks. Tom Gazzola, Matt Kassian, and Matthew Waniah with you as we break it all down. Edmonton with 8 straight victories. If you have any texts, hit us up, 780-218-9999. And then in the nasty chat, if you're watching on our YouTube channel, this one says, every time Sam scores, my heart smiles. That's from Robbie Boucher. And I appreciate that. And it's a good, greasy goal, Cass. And Gagner, I think for the most part, for a guy who's 34 years old now, 33, 34 years old, I think he's been a value add, and they talk about his character and he's doing everything he can on the ice. Is it as fast or quick as it was before? No. And he never really had explosive speed or anything like that. And he's coming off of hip surgery, but just, it seems like the heart and the hands are still there and the mind for the game, right?
Yep. And the heart's the biggest part of that, I think, for him, where you even look at that goal tonight. It's gritty. It's around the net. It's going to, I know he doesn't get cross-checked or anything. You find some space there, but you go into the more difficult place on the ice. Now, nice little pass to him, good finish. But hey, I love it when he gets rewarded. He plays the game hard. Yeah, he plays the game hard, and I don't think there has ever been anyone that has questioned his desire to play and to play well and to work. And as you said, it's not the same as it used to be. but he's still finding ways to chip in and get points. Something Connor Brown hasn't. So,
ouch.
Yeah, so I probably
I'm
shouldn't.
kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah, I mean that is a little
It's true.
spicy, but I think he's an important part of this team, and even from a dressing room standpoint, I think an important part of this team too, where it's just he is a veteran guy that's been around. He is extremely well liked. You want to talk about glue guys in the room, which I think are incredibly important, that pull people together, that make people feel like they belong and make them feel valued and included and appreciated. No, Sam's a guy that does that, and he does it very well. Incredibly well liked. He might be one of, if not the most liked guy in that dressing room. He's got to be up there at least. Like, it's just who he is. And Tommy, you need those guys around, and everyone loves when they get rewarded, and you can see it. He loves it too, right? Like he's excited, still excited to be playing and to be here. So yeah, good for Sam. Get another couple.
He's at home when he's an Oiler, third go round, whatever. But it seems like he's at home. You know what I mean, Cass? If you think that's a fair way to describe it.
Yep. Yeah, and it is. I mean, it is home in a lot of ways for him.
Absolutely. A goal and an assist for Gagner tonight, +2. 2 shots, 10:06 time on ice. So he made the most of his time on the ice. That gives him 7 points on the year, 4 goals, 3 assists in 13 games. And he improves to +2 on the year. So he was even going in. Still, you know what, Cass? Like there was at one point in the season where pretty much the entire team minus Gagner were below, or they were minus players. Cody Cece's at +6 now. I think Derek Ryan with that goal improves to +1. Ekholm is a plus player. Hyman is. Ernie is. Darnell Nurse is. But they still have a bunch of guys in the minuses. Hamblin's a plus player. And now Gagner is. Nugent Hopkins, McDavid. So it's slowly coming around, but it doesn't indicate everything. But that's just something I noticed. And it's good to see that ledger is getting better. Displaced you, Connor texts in and says, 97 was not going to be overshadowed tonight. Maple Jed said, is anyone else cheering for the penalty kill like it's an elimination game? Cast the penalty kill 2 for 2. It wasn't, tested that much tonight, but again, it's getting the job done, doing it in different ways, right?
It is not overly tested again by a Chicago team that's especially missing Jones, that just it's not great. But you find another way. I mean, it's again one of those things that has just turned around so dramatically. The penalty kill is just finding ways to get it done. Absolutely finding ways to get it done. Now, I think one of them got cut short because they drew another penalty.
Yeah, 3 seconds in.
3 seconds in. Yeah, so it was not very long into it. So I mean, that kind of, I guess you drew a penalty. You did enough to draw a penalty, which gives you credit, which is why you get the kill for it. But they're just going about their business right now. Again, it wasn't, I think, overly flashy or fancy today, but a solid job just to keep the puck out of your net. And Stuart Skinner as well, continuing to find ways to make saves on the penalty kill, which has been a pretty big part of it. But it's good to see. I mean, that was something that plagued them so much last year. It plagued them at the start of the season this year. And if they have started to figure it out, and what I shouldn't say they have started to figure it out, and it has made a huge difference in this winning streak.
4-1, the Oilers win it. 8-game heater, like Cass said. And we were just listening to Cass talk about Stu Skinner. 22 saves on 23 shots. And I thought in the first period too, Cass, it seemed like there were some opportunities that the Hawks got, whether it was off of scramble plays or miscommunication or miscues in general. He had to make some big stops after allowing that Connor Bedard goal. And then you saw him jamming to S Club 7 at the end of the game. So he was feeling it, obviously. I thought he did have a pretty solid night overall, and let's give him some credit where credit is due. What did you see from the big Oilers netminder?
Yeah, some cool dance moves. I mean, he's happy they're getting another win. Happy to extend the winning streak. He was just steady again, Tom. Like just steady. I mean, the shot from Bedard, that was a fantastic play.
Beautiful.
It was beautiful. And I don't think you can point and be like, that was a really bad goal on Stuart. No, that was a beautiful shot. and he doesn't get beat aside from that. Now he continues to have help from his teammates on those crazy hard to stop backdoor tap-ins that we've talked at length about, that people always said were his fault, but were never his fault. But he has managed to continue to just really be square on pucks and keep everything in front of him. I mean, that's been the big thing, is he if he's had a chance to make the save, he's made it. Like he's gone in front, he's knocked it down. He's been pretty good about steering his rebounds. And again, tonight, I think he did a decent job of not just, leaving a whole bunch of them around the net. I haven't seen the stat total on that, on where his rebounds were kicked out to. Haven't looked yet. So yeah, I care about analytics. That's important. Rebound control is part of that. Although you can't just always fault a goalie on that, because sometimes it's a shoot or two and you can't put it anywhere else, which is why you can't just rely on analytics. But I digress. He was really solid. Very, very solid. Good positionally. And hey, didn't look tired. I know Joaquin, I don't know if he's on. He's probably sleeping after too many Edmonton sports talk, 6 o'clock or loggers. But he thought they should have started Picard tonight. And I was just like, no. He was like, well, it's Stuart Skinner. They're tired. It's a marathon. And I disagreed with him quite strongly. We almost got in a fist fight over the internet. It was I was spicy today. But, hey, Skinner looked good. Gets a little bit of rest and comes back in and just pitches a solid game. Not like he was overly busy or overly tested, which is a good thing, especially heading into now a game where you're probably going to be challenged a little bit or a lot more against Tampa. But Tommy, just another solid outing.
It really was. And an expected result as the Oilers get that 4-1 victory over Connor Bedard and the Chicago Blackhawks. Coach Mike texts in. Coach Mike says, 8-game heater. Totally agree. Not much flow to the game. Third line looked kind of lost. Maybe that's why they switched up the second and third lines. At this point, you don't touch 93, 97, and 18. Tampa on Thursday should be a good one. That's from Coach Mike. Oil Country Joe says, as the first guy in the city with a third jersey, Gagner jersey, made after his first game, so awesome to see him contribute. Oil Country Joe, hopefully Jack and Ken Cookson over at Pro-Am hooked you up with that bad boy, because those guys are great at any needs you might have jersey-wise or even memorabilia-wise. Go see Jack and Ken over at Pro-Am and the whole crew there. Scott from Manitoba says, when is Spec going to acknowledge how bad Connor Brown has been? Loves ripping anybody else. Your thoughts? Well, I'm not going to get into what Spec does. Spec's going to write whatever columns he's going to write. He's going to stir the pot. Now, Connor Brown needs to be better. We know that. He needs to produce. But he's doing some things, Cass, like we said, that are maybe manifesting some production at some point. And he is on the PK. And he is an important part of a PK that's climbing the ladder in the NHL. So we do need to remember that there are elements of his game that he does bring to the table that are positive for this group. There's zero offense right now. Zero. None. And today was another example of that.
Yep. Well, let's hope it's coming, Tommy. Let's hope it's coming. Lord knows at some point they'll need it. So maybe not right now, but at some point he's going to need to contribute. So I am just hoping that as he gets closer and closer, if you can call it that, closer and closer to scoring a goal, that he finally puts one in and it completely cracks it. And from a confidence standpoint, it just rejuvenates him. But as you said, he's doing some other things that are helpful. So it's not like he probably, if I were him, I would probably still feel like I've been a part of it and a part of those wins.
Yeah.
But you got to think he's got a little bit of a fire in his gut to finally put one in and to finally be, a part of contributing on the scoreboard and not just in the general play.
Yeah. Absolutely valid. Cass, Marco has a question for you and I. This says, question for Maddie and Tommy. After the Oilers were tied for last, you guys said wildcard was the best we could dream of due to the separation of the top three in the Pacific. But with how the Oilers have been rolling, is it crazy to suggest top three is very possible now? 8 in a row, boys. LFG from Marco. Cass, I looked at the standings today, and I think Edmonton 9 back of, is it LA or Vancouver right now? After
LA.
LA, yeah. So still a good gap there.
And I think LA has a game in hand too.
Yeah.
Yeah, Vancouver, 29 games played, 39 points. LA, 25 games, 36 points.
Mm-hmm.
Edmonton, 26 games, 27 points. So there's still a pretty sizable gap. Now they're sniffing down Arizona and they're sniffing down Nashville. They're climbing into that. And you got 3 games in hand on Nashville. You could technically overtake them if you win the next 3.
Mm-hmm.
And you can overtake Arizona if you win the next one. So you are right there from the wild card standpoint, and winning this many games in a row has got you in that conversation. Is it out of the realm of possibilities that they catch LA and Vancouver? No, but it's
still tough.
It's still tough. That's still a lot of points to make up. That's a lot of points to make up. Like, and if LA wins, I mean, Tommy, they're 16-5-4. Edmonton is 13-12-1. Like that's still a pretty big swing. So, how many games do you have? Do you still have 3, or is it 2 against LA now?
I think they have 4 against the.
It might be
Kings,
4 still,
don't they?
Yeah, it might be. I can't
those
remember.
Are gonna be huge.
Yeah, I couldn't remember. Those are huge, right? Because if you win all 4 of those, well, now all of a sudden you're preaching a different story, right? Because that's 8 points right there that all of a sudden pulls you a lot closer. Potentially, but it's still going to be tough. So I'm not ready to. It's not out of the realm of possibilities, but there's still a ways back.
Yeah. Keep it short-sighted, like we've been saying for the last few weeks, and let the good times roll because they have an opportunity to make some hay here. It's going to get tougher against Tampa and Florida, obviously, but Marco, they still have some work to do, but who knows? Who knows? Win those 4-point games and they'll be okay. Dusty via the nasty chat. Dusty's still up. Isn't it bedtime, Dusty? I'm kidding. Says, I'll be honest, boys. I don't even think Brown was doing anything else that well tonight either. He was a non-factor. And then that ties in with a text that came in. And it says, hey, boys, isn't that the same stuff that we were saying about Jesse Puljujarvi? Like doing the little things right, trying to manifest good times. Yeah, we did say that about Jesse Puljujarvi, but I think, and if I'm wrong, Cass, by all means, jump in. If I'm right or you agree, then, let me know. But I think Connor Brown and his time in the National Hockey League and the body of work he has put together gets him the benefit of the doubt in a 20-game span compared to Jesse Puljujarvi, who is a young guy that didn't really take. You know what I mean?
He's got the history to back it up. Agree completely, Tom. Yeah. That's the difference. He's got the history to back it up. So it's not like he's a young guy trying to find his way. He's a guy that's been around, that has had that success, that's trying to get back to it, that needs to find a way back to it. But you give him, he's got a lot more leeway, I think, just based on what he's done in the past.
Dusty says that text wasn't from me about JP. No, that was someone else. They didn't sign their name to that text though. And then Gagner is up. He's up. He's cleaning up spiders. So everybody's up. Everybody's chiming in, and now we're bringing JP into the conversation. Oh boy, Matty Waniah, do we have any audio or video from the locker room by any chance? Is Matty there?
I don't think nothing yet.
Oh, okay, there. Nothing yet. All right, we'll get to that eventually. The Oilers win it 4-1 over the Chicago Blackhawks. Give them 8 straight victories. I see the nasty chats going strong. Smash that thumbs up button, please, and thank you. And if you're listening on your way home from the rink, or if you're driving around on the audio stream or the TuneIn app, you can text us 780-218-9999. Okay, Cass, let's take a look ahead to these last 2 games on the homestand. They get Tampa Thursday, and then they get Florida on Friday. What are you anticipating in that game Thursday night against the Tampa Bay Lightning? Obviously, a much stronger team overall than the Chicago Blackhawks.
Yeah, it's an interesting bookend to have these 2 teams, because if we look at the coaching change, and if we look at the Edmonton Oilers starting to turn their season around, they dropped a couple games to Tampa and to Florida, where they had scored goals, had been up early, and then just completely fell apart. And after that, they right after that, they started to get the wheels rolling again and started to play well. So it's kind of an interesting, like, you had these teams right before you started producing and actually having some success, and now you're getting them again. And they're two good teams that can hurt you offensively. And I think it's just going to be a great challenge. It's going to be a great challenge now to keep that momentum going. I mean, it's tough to go on a 4-game or a 5-game win streak, let alone an 8-game or a 9-game or a 10-game win streak. I mean, it's difficult to do that. So what am I expecting? I mean, I'm expecting them to break it down and look at these one game at a time. That's what they've been doing. That's what they're going to continue to do. I'm expecting them to have to play very fast against Tampa.
Mm-hmm.
To play fast against Tampa. So move pucks north quickly, try to really challenge them. Continue to do what you've been doing on the penalty kill. So keep that penalty kill going. And for your defense, I think you're going to have more of a challenge. I mean, Kucherov is having a fantastic season, and he's going to be a little bit or a lot, especially with his supporting cast, more difficult to deal with than Connor Bedard at this point. So you're going to have guys that are going to challenge you offensively. You got to keep it tight. Defensively, got to play fast, force the Tampa Bay Lightning to play on their heels, which is a tall order. I mean, it's going to be difficult to do, but yeah, I mean, I'm expecting these ones to be pretty fun, Tommy. They should be pretty fun.
The Lightning lose tonight in Vancouver 4-1. They have struggled a little bit lately, just 4 wins in their last 10 games, and currently on the outside looking in of the Eastern Conference playoff picture. 13-12-5 is the Lightning's record through 30 games this year. Yeah, 4-6 in the last 10 on the road so far this season. Cass 5-9-2, so not particularly great there after dropping another one tonight. And so I mean, a better team than the Blackhawks, but one that is certainly dealing with its own issues in the first part of this season for sure. All right, and let's even stretch it out to the Florida Panthers. This is a team that is second in the Atlantic, 17-9-2. We saw the Oilers face them, and then that was the last loss before this winning streak started against the Washington Capitals. By the way, Cass, I don't know if you saw this, but the Caps are going to be moving, it sounds like, across the river to Virginia, which for those that don't know, it's the Potomac, and it's literally like, it's like going from Edmonton to Sherwood Park, basically.
Yeah, not very far.
Yeah.
Not very far. I actually didn't see that yet. So
yeah.
I'm just going to have to digest that a little bit.
They're going to build a new arena. It's like one of those, Ted Leonsis is supposed to be at this unveiling tomorrow. They've got this huge portion of land, and they're getting a sweetheart deal and offer. And the city, like DC proper, is trying to negotiate with the Caps up to the 11th hour to keep them downtown. I actually don't mind that Capital One arena, but it does.
But the drive, Tommy, from the airport. The drive from the airport, that drive is the worst drive. It is the worst because there's always traffic.
Yep.
You're always like, just that drive from the airport is just brutal. Just brutal.
Cass, do you know when you're doing that drive in from the airport in Washington, what is it, Dulles Airport into downtown? Do you notice like all those like nondescript blacked out office buildings that you're like, I wonder what is in there? It's probably all like CIA and secret government stuff. It just seems so weird and sketchy, doesn't it?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
It's kind of neat.
Real sketchy. That's where the bodies are. Yeah.
That's where the aliens are, Cass. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
Yeah. Well, are you?
Well, am I? I don't know. That's a huge story right now. Anyway,
what people don't know is that you and I both are actually lizard people.
Don't tell anyone.
Yeah. Shh.
That's
but if you go to my website, www.insidejob.org/gov.aliensexist/illuminati.gov.org, you'll find out everything you need to know. Yes. I also have a link to my analytics page on that website.
I love it.
It's a great group of people. You can join us. We all think the same way.
Yes. I am a member of that lovely website that's so easy to navigate to. Anyway, the game against the Florida Panthers, just thoughts on that too. I know it's 2 away, but that's going to be an important one.
Yeah. Yep. It's hey, Tommy, what's messed up is they've strung together a great winning streak. And every game still feels like it's incredibly important because they've now just crawled back into the picture. So it's, putting themselves in a situation because of their earlier play where they've had to play really well. And for the most part, they've done it. And you know what? At home or on the road, you got to find a way to keep it going.
Bottom line. All right, Cass, this one from Justin says, TG, Cass, good night. Love the show. That's from Justin. And Justin, we appreciate it very much. All good on that front. Cass, if you want, we can call it a night for you, and we'll look ahead to Thursday night's matchup against the Tampa Bay Lightning, unless you want to stick around. But I think outside of that, you've done your due diligence tonight, my friend.
I think I'm good. I'll probably head to bed here, Tommy, if we don't have the video up and running. Hopefully that'll be out soon so you guys can digest that a little bit. But yeah, just looking forward to the next one, and let's keep this streak rolling. Let's keep it rolling, Tom. It's a good thing. Been fun watching. I know it wasn't the most exciting game today, but our Edmonton Oilers still won, and that's a positive, and it's a good thing. So let's look forward with anticipation and excitement.
Well said, my fellow lizard person.
Yeah.
See you on Thursday, Cass.
See ya.
That's our game analyst, Matt Cassian, breaking down the Oilers' 4-1 victory over the Chicago Blackhawks. 780-218-9999. Nasty chat going strong. Hit that thumbs up button, please, and thank you. Let's bring in Matthew Waniah. Haven't heard from Matty too much tonight. Matty, what did you think of the game? I know you had a chance to watch some of it, but this 8-game winning streak now, this team, a far cry from the doldrums of the early parts of this season. What say you, Matthew?
It was a game that just needed to happen. It's, you needed the win. We talked about it in the pregame. There's no excuses for not getting the win against the team that, they were going up against just all around. So if you lose, it's not good. If you win, people, you beat the Chicago Blackhawks, but you got that 8th straight win and, came out of it healthy. You got your goals. It wasn't this I know Bedard gets that first goal to give the Blackhawks the lead, but after that it was all Oilers basically in terms of, especially on the score sheet. So it's what you'd want from this team, I don't think. I don't think there's anything else you really should go for when this team has now won 8 straight, and this is who the opponent was. If this was, the Thursday game against the Tampa Bay Lightning, a little different. You're going to want to see a little better showing, I think, in different ways, or you might nitpick certain things. Here it was, you just got to beat the Blackhawks. You did it pretty handily. Never really was in doubt. You got your 8th straight. Now on to Tampa Bay, and to me, again, just part of it, no injuries. In these type of games, it's just, to me, it's get the dub, no injuries, good to go, bring on the next game.
Fair enough. Tuck it away, business as usual, and the Oilers get the job done, picking up the 2 points. It wasn't the prettiest, but like Matty says, just go out, get the win, and they did that certainly tonight. Taco texts us. Taco says, boys, did you notice McDavid buzzing right after the Bedard goal? He found another gear and was flying around. Yeah, Taco, it did feel like, and McDavid he never really talks about it in his press conferences and stuff like that. He doesn't want to acknowledge and fuel the flame or fan the flames, fuel the fire, whatever you want to call it. He doesn't like to play into that, but you could kind of tell that he wanted to show that he's the guy. That's his house, and nobody's going to take that away from him, young phenom or not. That was certainly noticeable from Connor McDavid. I'll go to this one from Jeb, who sends in a photo from Sobeys Liquor Store and sold out the Alley Cat 6 o'clocker lager. And Jeb adds, I had to go to Toronto for work this week. Turns out they have as much 6 o'clocker lager as Edmonton. None. Coming to the harsh reality that this sweet lager will never touch my lips. It's okay, though. I'm okay. Still haven't tried it. Still love it. Jeb. Matthew, that is a beautiful message from Jeb.
Well, he doesn't have to worry about never trying it.
I know. Because
I believe December 22nd. By then, we should have a lot more shipments being sent to Sobeys and Safeway liquor stores. And this is going to, it seems like, be a permanent beer for Alley Cat. This isn't just a one run or anything like that. This is now just moving forward, going to be part of the roster of Alley Cat. So while you might not have it right now and you might not have it for the next couple of weeks if you still can't find it, you will at least taste it. I guarantee it in 2024. You will be able to go find it. There will be more of these produced, enough so that everyone could keep having it many times throughout the next calendar year and beyond.
I'm well said, but I'm still blown away by how well it continues to do. It is a good beer. Like, that's the beauty of it. It's a good beer. It was a fun lead up to the launching of the beer. And I think, that whole combination is like a groundswell. It is really good. And I see that it's beside in this picture from Jeb, the squeeze play. I think it's a hazy pale ale that is done with the Riverhawks. Maybe some foreshadowing there, Matthew. Section I gang, what up?
It would be great if we can get that out at Remax this upcoming summer. And time will only tell, but I think the fact that it is a permanent lager, or it seems like we're going to have it as a permanent lager with Alley Cat, makes those chances much greater. They'll be able to have a 6 o'clocker while enjoying a Riverhawks game this upcoming summer.
And fittingly, Thomas M texts in and says, "Is that an Edmonton Trappers helmet?" Yes, it is. Actually, there's two back there. There's two. One with like the old logo on it, or was it this side? The old logo, and then the one that they had in the mid-90s when they switched over to the Oakland A's affiliation. Rod Z says, Trapper's helmet behind Tom. I remember the Dante Bichette days and Devon White, the guys' days of arms around both cups coming. There was some like really good players that came through and played at old John Ducey Park and then Telus Field, and now it's Remax Field. But you know where I got these, Maddie? They used to do this thing called West Covington's Kids Home Run Club. And you'd have to like fill out a form in the paper and like or mail it in. And then they would let you know, they'd call you and say, "Hey, can you come down this game? You're in the home run club." And they would just like lob balls to you. And depending on your age, you had to go further out and you would just try to crank them over the fence. And it was pretty easy. So I remember I got on a run where I hit like 3 or 4 in a row, and people, like whatever few people were watching, were like clapping, and it was kind of fun. So that's where I got those helmets.
Did you do it twice then?
I did it a couple times, and then I actually have I have a third helmet that's the same as this one, and I think it was my brother got to do it. He went
middle or younger? Not the younger.
My middle brother, Mike. Yeah, and so when my parents were packing up their last house to move into their new one, my parents were like, "Hey, we found these Trappers helmets. Do you want them?" And I was like, "Excuse me, we have Trappers helmets still?" "Yes, I do. I need to put it on my backdrop." So that's the story behind those Trappers helmets from back in the day. West Covington's Kids Home Run Club. It was fun.
Look at you go. I like that. I liked all those logos, but I didn't mind that mid-90s logo.
It was good. It was a good look. Like it was. I think when they went to the Marlins for a couple of years before Oakland, that's when they switched to the teal and black instead of the red and blue. I think that's when it all happened. And then they switched affiliation to Minnesota.
That was their second last stop in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Before the Expos.
And that's when the Eskimos actually owned the Trappers, right?
It was around then that they would have purchased it. Yeah, and then they owned it I think owned it a little bit when it was the Twins, and then when it ended with the Expos there. Yeah. That's how that went. Just heads up quickly, we're starting to get some post-game audio. I'm just getting Zach Hyman right now. Okay,
let's get Zach Hyman. I'll read a couple of texts. I like how people are updating us when things are posted. Really appreciate that, Sparky Kev. We'll get to that right away. Atif says, "Good evening, gentlemen. Great win for the Oilers tonight. I'm on the search for the 6 o'clocker lager other than Sobeys liquor. I probably won't find it, but it's an adventure." Atif, it is a Sobeys and Safeway liquor exclusive. That is important to note. This one, using some foul language I won't read it, says 8-game heater. And then another one says, "Who cares about your props? This was a radio show, you expletive." Well, it's on TV too, or on YouTube, so you can see it.
There's also a thing of, you could still describe things with your words as you just did. Right. So that can happen on radio to that person. Maybe that person needs to go to bed. Well, they're just
This is
cranky. They're
unreal.
ready for bedtime. I think that one. It's time for bed. Get your sleep. You're a little cranky. Get some rest.
I have to respond to this. Oh boy. Some people. Have a nice night. Should I end it with kisses?
Always.
Yes, kisses.
Oops.
No name on that text. What happened? Did you mess something up?
No, I think you could hear the audio as I'm cutting it up, and I didn't mean to do that.
Displaced Yukoner checks in, says, wifey just came into the room, recognized our voices right away, said she missed the show. Now she's sitting with me listening. Hello, Mrs. Displaced Yukoner. All right, the Oilers win it 4-1. They get goals tonight from Sam Gagner, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Leon Draisaitl, and Zach Hyman. Connor Bedard gets the marker for the Chicago Blackhawks. Just 3:21 in, but it would be 4 unanswered from the Oil. You do get a 22-save performance from Stuart Skinner. Looked pretty solid all night long. And the Oilers find themselves on an 8-game winning streak, looking to make it 9 in a row Thursday night against the Tampa Bay Lightning. A couple of texts joking around saying, no negative comments for Tom. Save those for Maddie. No negative comments. Can't please them all, McJesus, who texts in that one via the nasty chat. And then Del Radia says, Gaza feeling the trolls. Yeah, you're going to get them no matter what. We're stalling to get this audio.
Oh, I got Hyman.
Up.
I got Hyman ready to go.
Okay.
Yeah, and
right.
we'll also have Sam Gagner after as well.
Perfect. Let's run those two. Let's start with Zach Hyman.
Pleased to win games and has to feel pretty good considering where you've been.
Yeah, it's been fun. Obviously, anytime you win, it's fun, and it's fun doing it the right way. And I think the goals against and limiting chances and things like that. That's the key to success, and I think something that we've harped on, and the reason that we're on this little run.
It seems like you're playing a more patient game as well. Like if it's not going to you right away, you guys are kind of sticking to it, and eventually they'll come around.
Yeah, I think we kind of got away from it a little bit in the first. Like I think we were kind of trading chances, up and down the ice, and we knew if we kind of got back to doing things the way that we've been doing it, the right way, and holding on to pucks and securing both blue lines, then we'd be in a good spot. And I thought in the second and third, we really did that. We limited their chances, and then obviously capitalized.
There was a time, I think, when this team would have just taken that first period and just ramped it up in the second. What's changed around here?
Well, when you're that far out of the playoffs, you can't play like that, right? And I think we knew, long-term success-wise, you have to do things the right way to win, and you can't flip a switch and turn it on at the end of the year. You got to do it throughout the whole year, and that's the way you win, whether you're playing against the number 1 team in the league or the last place team in the league. Like every team is so good these days that you can't pick and choose when you play the right way. You have to play the right way the entire game.
What did you think of that release by Bedard on his goal?
Yeah, he's doesn't need much space, does he? We skate with him in the summertime, so we've seen his shot, and yeah, he's a special player. He's going to be really, really good.
He seems to be able to get it off when the goalie's not ready. Like he just gets it off at a time when he catches a lot of goalies unaware.
Yeah, I think goalies and defenders. I mean, I think anytime you can kind of release the puck at different angles, like I played with Austin for a long time, and he has that ability to shoot the puck from all different angles, and I think Bedard's similar in that way with his shot and being able to change an angle and getting it off remarkably quick and hard. So, I mean, pretty good goal.
What have you seen in Stuart's ability to kind of bounce back here? When things aren't going well in this town, the goalies take a lot of spotlight.
For sure.
And a lot of pressure.
Yeah, I think, a lot of that has to do with a lot of, I would say, the goals against early in the season aren't just the goalies, it's the team and the chances you give up. You give up, not every shot is the same chance, right? You give up 10 grade A's, makes it pretty tough on the goalie, right? So I think as a team we've done a better job limiting that, and I think Stu has made all the big saves for us, on this run, made every key save that he's needed to make, and I think one of the big things is if he didn't make a save and it went through, his ability to rebound and just bounce back, I think, has been phenomenal, and just it's been unbelievable for this stretch.
There's Zach Hyman picking up another goal tonight. 1 hit, 4 shots, 17-14 time on ice. and 2 penalty minutes as well. Okay, we have a couple more players that we can get to. Let's do that. Let's go to Sam Gagner now.
It's contributing. You're contributing. How nice does it feel to be chipping in the way you guys have been?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think we have the ability to do that, to contribute on the offensive side. But I think our main objective is to make sure that we're playing good defensively, giving our team good minutes, and trying to tilt the ice so that, when our big guys get out there, they're at a advantageous situation. And, I feel like we've been playing well, but, gotta stay on it.
Your line hasn't been on the ice for very many goals against either. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, no, that's our main objective is be a line that can be trusted, that can be good in the D zone, but play in the offensive zone and try and cycle pucks and create advantages for the rest of our line. So I think our whole team has done a really good job of that recently, of turning lines over and leaving the line that comes next with something to play with. So that's got to be our focus.
The first period was a bit of a track meet, kind of summer hockey-ish.
Yeah.
Was there a message in here between periods? Because it changed after that.
Yeah, certainly not the game that we want to play. I think it's understandable. We've had a good stretch here, and it's human nature to kind of have a period like that every so often. But I thought we did a really good job of talking about it and making sure that we got back to the way that we know we're successful with. I thought Stu did a great job of allowing us to find our game, and we went from there.
When you see a guy like Connor Bedard come through, does it bring back memories for you being 18 and starting in the league and just kind of figuring out and finding your way through everything?
Yeah, I mean, certainly a lot different circumstance for him, being as highly touted as he is. And the start he's had has been incredible, I think. As much as, people talked about, what he was going to do as an 18-year-old, I think he's even exceeded expectations. So it's been really impressive to watch. And, it's always fun playing against guys like that. Yeah, it's really impressive, being able to get it off that quickly, that hard, and tight. It's really impressive.
Sam, you signed here to come and try and make this team. Everybody knew, the things you were trying to fight through, stint in the A.
Yep.
You're in the lineup here, you're contributing regularly. Just maybe a thought on big picture here on standing here and still doing this?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's been a long road to get to this point. It was a really long summer, and but I knew what I was committed to, and I wanted to be here and helping this team win. And it's it's a good feeling to contribute in wins, but we've got a long ways left to go. And personally, I gotta keep pushing, and as a group as well. So it's been a good little run here, but a lot of ways to go.
There is Sam Gagner, goal and assist for the veteran Oiler in the 4-1 Edmonton victory. Couple of texts really quickly via the nasty chat. Fergie, I love Hyman, says Fergie, but that big honker too. What time does he have to get up just to pick that thing? And Fergie also added, Zach is so articulate as well. Yes, he's very well spoken. Robert Andrews says, Sam's the man. Sam is a good man indeed. Another good man is this one. He had a 22 save performance. It was Stuart Skinner picking up the win tonight. Here he is following his team's win.
Wins here, Stuart. You got 8 in a row here as a group. You personally rolling 2. I mean, much better does this feel than before?
Yeah, obviously feels a lot better. It's our job to just keep it going and keep on getting 2 points. Another big 2 points for us to get above 500 here. So got to keep on moving forward.
For you personally, when things don't go well in this city, the goalies get a lot of spotlight. How'd you deal with that pressure, and how sort of happy are you the way it's turned?
Yeah, I think at first I was obviously a little bit frustrated, a little bit upset. You never want to be hearing that from your fans, obviously, but at the same time, I knew it needed to be better. The whole group did, and that starts with me. And for me, it was sticking to it, keep on working on my game, keep on, just keep on grinding, never give up. So there's a lot of that, a lot of perseverance as a complete group.
You know, we got to ask about that kid's shot.
Yeah.
I mean, you knew it was going to be there coming in, but just your thoughts on that one.
Yeah, he made a really nice move. Very quick release, very quick handle of the puck. So placed it really well as well. It's pretty hard to do to move it that fast and still pick a corner. So a goal where I would tip my hat, but I also know that I can do something to improve on that. So I'm going to look at video, talk to Schwartzy, and I'll figure out a way to stop it next time.
You can pre-scout that shot lots, but when you see it live, it's got to be different than watching it on video, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. When you watch it on video lots, because anytime you open up Instagram, it's the first thing that comes up is his shot. But seeing it live, yeah, I thought in overall, I thought he played really well. He had a couple blocks as well, which was good to watch. And yeah, he made a nice move. It was a very nice shot. Yeah, give the kid some props.
What about the way this group is defending in front of you and kind of the commitment that's there? Not that they weren't trying before, but it's so much more efficient right now in front of you.
Yeah, we're very committed as a group in the way we're playing. Yeah, I think he nailed it. Guys are doing a really good job, working really hard. PK's been really good. Power play's been good. Puck handles with the D have been good. Pretty efficient. I think our forecheck is incredible when we're able to get on it. So there's a lot of things that go into being able to win a game. And yeah, the guys are doing a heck of a job. I think in the second and third period, I got 8 shots, something like that. It wasn't many. So huge props to the guys playing in front of me.
There's Stuart Skinner, 22 saves, picking up his 11th victory of the season, improving to 11-7-1. All right, time now to take care of some business as we get to the player of the game, brought to you by Damon Bunting RE/MAX Elite. Damon Bunting, consistent top-producing realtor in Greater Edmonton and among RE/MAX realtors. He and his team would love to help you find that right home or make the move from your current one. He's community-driven, knows what it takes to make a difference in our city. Check him out. DamonBunting.com, or visit his Instagram at Damon Bunting Real Estate. Honorable mention to Connor McDavid, who was a wizard out there again, but I feel like I don't get a lot of opportunities to do this, and I don't know how many more times I'll be able to distribute a player of the game. Usually YouTube Trev gets to do it, and I don't know if I'll be able to do it and give it to this guy that many more times. Sam Gagner, a goal and an assist +2 with a couple of shots and 10:06 time on ice. He is your Damon Bunting RE/MAX Elite player of the game. All right, that is going to do it for the Oil Stream Postgame Show. Huge thank you to everyone who tuned in. Huge thank you to everyone who watched and listened and got in on the nasty chat and texted us at our inbox. And we appreciate it. We will see you on Thursday when the Oilers take on the Tampa Bay Lightning, back to a 7 o'clock start. And for Matty Waniah and Matt Cassian, I'm Tom Gazzola saying enjoy the rest of your evening. Have a good night. Ciao, ciao.